again, but you're going to get this molecule right here. Okay? This molecule is an aldehyde. Okay? In fact, if you were to do D amino acid oxidase on any of the D amino acids, regardless of what they are, this is the only one that's going to give you an aldehyde. The reason it's the only one that's going to give you an aldehyde is it's the only one whose R group is a hydrogen. You'll get an aldehyde. And this molecule right here, this molecule is called glyoxylate. This is called glyoxylate. Now, glyoxylate really has one of two states, and we'll look at those now. Okay? Glyoxylate is an aldehyde. Okay, let's look at the first state. Glyoxylate can actually react with a member of the aldehyde dehydrogenase. So recall that those are just simple NAD-dependent oxidations. So you do it like this. So initially, you should have NAD comes in, gets reduced to NADH, right? And then water is going to come in, right, as a terminal nucleophile. And what you should get out of this is you should get something that looks like this. So we're still keeping this carboxylate right here, but this one should also be a carboxylate, right? And another way we could draw this molecule is like this. We could also write it right like this. Okay? And this molecule is called oxalate. This is called oxalate. Okay? And one of the things that's interesting about oxalate is, and whether or not this is a proper amino acid oxidation is unknown, and quite frankly, it's an active area of research. But it's known that oxalate and its salts, which are calcium oxalate, so calcium can actually have an electrostatic interaction with oxalate. Calcium oxalate salts are a huge component of kidney stones. So kind of a question that you should sort of keep in the back of your mind is, could it be possible that something wrong with this pathway is part of the reason why people get kidney stones, or at least it's a contribution to kidney stones? Because we know for a fact that calcium oxalate is a major constituent of the actual solid mass of the kidney stone. Now, it's not to say that this definitely is the case, but it's certainly an active area of research. Okay, there's one other main reaction that glyoxylate can do, and glyoxylate can react with an enzyme called glyoxylate alanine aminotransferase. So this enzyme is called GLX, abbreviated GLX, alanine, and then transaminase, so transaminase. And just like all transaminases, this is a pyridoxal phosphate-dependent reaction. Okay, now let's draw the structure of alanine. Let's draw the structure of alanine. So alanine is going to look like this. So we're going to have our alpha amine, alpha carboxyl, and then the R, this is the methyl group, right? Well, remember what transaminases do. There's substitution, effectively, not mechanistically, but effectively, between amines and carbonyls. So what happens if I go to glyoxylate and I replace this with an amine, right? Well, number one, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. What is this molecule? Well, that's a glycine, right? So you can say that one of the...
신경쓰는 주인공은 언제까지 이렇게 생길 알았어.
Instead, goes the other direction to ketone bond license. Okay? So I just want to make that perfectly clear. So you've seen that 2-amino 3-ketopyruvyl ligase is a ketogenic process. Okay, we generate our first acetyl-CoA. And also keep in mind that this NADH will go and fuel the respiratory chain of the liver cell that we're talking about, right? NADH fuels into NADH glucosidase reductase, which is complex 1 of the mitochondria, and that plucks 4 protons from the matrix into the intermembrane space, thus powering ATP synthase with a proton gradient. Okay? So we're getting lots of energy doing this. And of course, when acetyl-CoA goes and makes the ketone body, the ketone body will be dumped into the body, goes into the tissues. Okay, enough on that. Now this one here is you generate glycine. So this one right here, this is glycine. This is glycine, right? Now, effectively what you can say for this next reaction of serine hydroxymethyltransferase, on some level, it's going to take 2 glycines. Now, that's not entirely true, and for more elucidation on this, going to the tetrahydrofolate video. But for instance, we're going to need for serine hydroxymethyltransferase in the catabolic direction, we're going to need something called N5-N10-methylene tetrahydrofolate, and that's just that's one way we can get N5-N10-methylene tetrahydrofolate. Now, there are other ways to get N5-N10-methylene tetrahydrofolate, so this isn't the only way. It's not the only. In other words, we don't just have to use glycine to get it. We can get it through other methods using tetrahydrofolate glycolysis. But on some level, we can use 2 molecules of glycine to get serine. So I just want to make that perfectly clear. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to look at a pseudo mechanism for glycine synthesis so we get a kind of understanding of what's happening in this mechanism. Okay? So again, we're not looking at arrow pushing or anything like that. We're just trying to get a broad understanding. Now, what we have to understand about the glycine cleavage system is it's divided into 4 parts. There are 4 loosely attached proteins that interact with each other. You can sort of view it in the center, there's an H subunit. And if you notice on the H subunit, you have this guy right here, this is lipoate, right? So there's a lipoate that's bound to a lysine residue in the H subunit. In other words, the carbon skeleton of glycine, it binds that to the lipoate, okay? The T subunit transfers that carbon tetrahydrofolate. Now, in the process of doing this T subunit reaction, we generate totally reduced lipoate. So the L subunit is going to perform the redox reaction necessary to regenerate the resting state of the H subunit. So I hope this picture makes a little bit of sense. T subunit does the decarbosylation, T subunit synthesizes N5-N10-methylene tetrahydrofolate, and L subunit regenerates the resting state of the enzyme. And this is not like a, these are not like an attached quaternary structure type of proteins. These are actually fairly loosely associated proteins. Okay, that's why it's not called the glycine. It doesn't have like a defined name like pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. It's simply just called the glycine cleavage system. All it is a bunch of loosely associated proteins that just happen to be catalytically active together. Okay, so let's look at the mechanism. So notice that we have, at least right here, notice that we have a pyridoxal phosphate attached to the P subunit. And of course, at rest, the pyridoxal phosphate has an aldehyde attached to it. That's the name pyridoxal phosphate, right? And the first step of the mechanism is going to be a shift-base attachment between pyridoxal phosphate and glycine. And we know that shift-base linkage right here. Specifically, it's a coordinated shift-base linkage. And essentially what's going to happen in the step between B and C is you're going to have a shift-base hydrolysis around the same time in the mechanism that you have the decarbosylation. So this carbon dioxide, or this carboxyl group leaves as carbon dioxide. And as you hydrolyze the shift-base, it ligates to the lipoate. And we note that ligation right here. So the lipoate breaks its oxidized bond, in other words, the disulfide bridge, and attaches to the glycine skeleton. Okay? Now, at this point, in the step between C and D, this is the point at which N5-N10-methylene tetrahydrofolate is made, right? This is the point. And in the process, you lose ammonia. Okay, so we note the ammonia loss right here. And this guy right here, oops, go back. Where was it? Not sure what happened. Hold on. Okay, yeah. This guy right here, this is our N5-N10 methylene tetrahydrofolate, okay? And that's going to be used for both serine biosynthesis, or we could say glycine catabolism, okay? Because in this reaction, we're ultimately going to form serine, okay? And then what happens is we have the totally reduced form of the lipoate, right? And that's no use to us because the mechanism requires that we start in the fully oxidized form. So this host enzyme right here, which is FAD, this is going to perform the oxidation to get the lipoate back into its oxidized form. And in the process, we generate FADH2. Note that right here. Okay, but FAD, like most flavins, is covalently, or at least it's severely strongly interacting with the protein. So what you have to do, you just have to re-oxidize FADH2 back to FAD, and this is accomplished by NAD oxidation. So NAD performs the oxidation and gets reduced to NADH. We note that right here. So what are our net products from this reaction? Well, we get carbon dioxide, which is noted here. We get ammonia, right? That's generated in step 3P, or CNT, right? We also get N5-N10 methylene tetrahydrofolate and an NADH. Okay, so those are our products. Okay, and of course we note the NADH right here. Okay, and now we have N5-N10 methylene tetrahydrofolate. That's going to react with another molecule of glycine in serine hydroxymethyltransferase. Okay, and this particular reaction is going to make serine. Okay, this is going to make serine. And serine hydroxymethyltransferase is another, it's another pyridoxal phosphate dependent reaction. Okay, and so at this point we've seen the biosynthesis of serine, or at least one biosynthesis, and we're looking at the catabolic pathway for glycine. So now serine is going to react with another pyridoxal phosphate-dependent reaction called serine dehydratase. And the first step of the mechanism is going to be cleavage of water, okay? It's going to be cleavage of water, okay? And then we're going to hydrolyze off ammonia. Okay, so this is going to be a reaction in which we produce ammonia. Now keep in mind that up to this point, we've seen two reactions where we produce ammonia. I'll do these in orange. Glycine cleavage enzyme produces ammonia, and so does serine dehydratase, which is going to be ammonia. Now keep in mind that during times of fasting, when we're doing amino acid oxidation, the urea cycle is going to be running full force. And the reason the urea cycle runs full force is because we're producing a lot of ammonia, right? So the ammonia is going to get activated by carbonyl phosphate synthetase 1, generate carbonyl phosphate, and then we transfer the carbonyl group to ornithine by ornithine transcarbonylase, right? That goes into the urea cycle to make citrulline and we excrete it as urea, right? So the urea cycle will be running full force, and that's going to be the fate of the ammonia that we generate in amino acid oxidation. And then at the end of serine dehydratase, we have pyruvate. So we can say there's a pyruvate through a series of about 11 steps, right? The pyruvate will be shunted into gluconeogenesis to form glucose. So in this sense, the pyruvate is a glucogenic product. So what have we seen so far in this catabolic pathway? Well, we've seen the production of SCO-A, which goes to form ketone bonds. Therefore, we would say that threonine is a ketogenic amino acid, right? But threonine also ultimately gets created in pyruvate. So we say threonine is also glucogenic, right? Now, glycine and serine at this point don't integrate into acetyl-CoA. They just integrate to pyruvate. So we would say that serine and glycine are glutogenic, okay? Because they integrate to pyruvate, and that pyruvate can be sent into gluconeogenesis to form glucose. And I hope this made a little bit of sense. And in another video, we'll actually look at the catabolic pathway for tryptophan, alanine, and cysteine. Okay? So real quickly, I want to make a quick recap of what we've seen. Okay? Threonine is going to get dehydrogenated by threonine dehydrogenase. In the process of generating NADH, which fuels NADH oxidoreductase, which is complex 1 of the mitochondria. That creates a proton gradient by pumping more protons from the matrix into the intermembrane space, and that powers ATP synthase, right? In the process, we generate 2-amino-3-ketobutyrate, which we reacts with the 2-amino-3-ketobutyrate glycate. Now, it's important that we generate that ketone or that carbonyl because that activates 2-amino-3-ketobutyrate for nucleophilic acyl substitution with coenzyme A. In the process, we get acetyl-CoA, which goes on to make ketone bodies, which get dumped into the blood, right, to fuel peripheral tissues, and we also generate glycine. Now, on the side here, we have glycine reacting with the glycine cleavage enzyme, right? In the first step, we create a shift-base linkage between glycine and pyridoxal phosphate. Then we decarboxylate, hydrolyze the shift-base linkage, and attach the glycine skeleton to lipoate. Then we deaminate while forming N5-N10 methylene tetrahydrofolate, which is going to be used by serine hydroxymethyltransferase. And we also, in the process, generate totally reduced lipoate, which gets reoxidized to oxidized lipoate by FAD, generating FADH2. We regenerate the resting state of FAD by using NAD to re-oxidize FADH2 back to FAD, which reduces NAD to NADH. Okay? And let's just do a quick recap of what the glycine cleavage enzyme is actually doing, or we could say the glycine cleavage system. You have this H subunit that interacts with all other three subunits, the P, the G, and the L subunits. H subunit has the lipoate. In one state, it interacts with the P subunit, which forms the shift-base linkage between glycine and pyridoxal phosphate, and then you decarboxylate, hydrolyze the shift-base linkage, and attach the glycine skeleton onto lipoate. The T subunit then takes it further by forming N5-N10 methylene tetrahydrofolate and fully reduced lipoate. Then the H subunit rotates to interact with the L subunit, which oxidizes lipoate back to oxidized lipoate. In the process, it reduces FAD to FADH2. Then NAD reoxidizes FADH2 back to FAD, thus in the process reducing NAD back to NADH. Okay? So I want to make that perfectly clear. That's the glycine cleavage system. And in the process, we generate N5-N10 methylene tetrahydrofolate, which will react with serine hydroxymethyltransferase and glycine in a pyridoxal phosphate-dependent reaction to make serine. Then we dehydrate serine and then hydrolyze off the ammonia using a shift-based hydrolysis, and we make pyruvate. And that pyruvate is going to go on into gluconeogenesis to make glucose. So we can say that glycine and serine are both glucogenic, right? They get degraded to pyruvate. And keep in mind that the ammonia also gets settled into the urea cycle, okay? So I hope this video will give you a little bit of intuition on threonine, glycine, and serine catabolism. In other videos, we'll look at the other three amino acids that degrade to pyruvate. Welcome back. This should be a really short to the point video. In this video, we're going to look at the degradation pathway for cysteine. And as we'll find, the degradation of cysteine to pyruvate occurs in two enzymatic steps. Cysteine levels in the blood are fairly tightly controlled. One thing we must understand about cysteine is you don't want a lot of it in the blood. If you have an excess of cysteine in the blood, it can cause cysteine toxicity, and that's not good. So in other words, we have to control cysteine levels somehow. One of the ways we control cysteine levels in the blood is by catabolizing it down to pyruvate. And the rate-limiting and committed step in this catabolic pathway is catalyzed by cysteine dioxygenase. Okay? So this enzyme effectively removes cysteine from the blood and the cell. And it's going to irreversibly dioxygenate the sulfur atom right here on cysteine. So both atoms with molecular oxygen are going to get incorporated into the cysteine molecule on the sulfur atom. And what that generates is this molecule right here, which is called sulfinoalanine. And the reason it's called sulfinoalanine is because it has the sulfino group. And if you were to look at the rest of the molecule, well, hey, that's just alanine, right? Or you could call it an alanyl group, right? So that's the name sulfinoalanine. Now, sulfinoalanine really stands at a crossroad in liver cell metabolism. The sulfinoalanine can go one of two directions. Either it can go and be degraded to pyruvate through the next enzyme, or it can go into something called taurine biosynthesis. And we won't go into a whole lot of detail here about taurine, but effectively what it is it's a molecule that can be ligated to certain bile acids to make them more hydrophilic, and it's used in digestion of fats and a lot of them. Okay? So taurine would be used there. So that's one direction it can go, but the direction we're going to consider here is the direction of cysteine metabolism. Okay? Now, what happens if cysteine is present in large amounts? Well, like we said, you don't want a whole lot of it in the blood because it can cause acute cysteine toxicity. So the cell reacts by making more of this enzyme, cysteine dioxygenase. But what happens when cysteine levels fall in the blood? Well, those levels are sensed, and what ends up happening is to prevent dangerously low levels of cysteine through catabolism, this enzyme, cysteine dioxygenase, is ubiquitinated. And when you ubiquitinate a protein, what that means is you're transferring molecules of ubiquitin, which are other proteins, onto the protein itself. And when a proteasome, which is a molecular garbage can, when it recognizes a protein that has ubiquitin on it, it proteolyzes that protein. In other words, if you have protein A that has ubiquitin on it, the proteasome will recognize the ubiquitin molecule and it will proteolyze protein A. So in order to prevent extremely low levels of cysteine, ubiquitin is attached to cysteine dioxygenase and the enzyme will be degraded to prevent further catabolism. This allows cysteine levels to be fairly constant in the blood and to prevent unsafe levels either on high or low end. But anyways, we get sulfinoalanine through this enzyme. Now we're going to run in the direction of cysteine catabolism, and sulfinoalanine will react with sulfinoalanine transaminase. And just like all transaminases, this is a pyridoxal phosphate reaction, right? And mechanistically, it's not this way, but from a taking a special point of view, when you're trying to remember structures, you can effectively think of these reactions as substitutions between amines and carbonyls. So this is the alpha amine of cysteine. So in the alpha amine of sulfinoalanine, we can expect to see an alpha keto group in the next molecule we do. So what we're doing is we're taking the molecule of alpha ketoglutarate and basically taking the amine from sulfinoalanine and placing it on the alpha carbon of alpha ketoglutarate. That's going to give us L-glutamate, right, and sulfonopyruvate. Now, sulfonopyruvate is going to undergo a spontaneous hydrolysis, meaning that it has a negative delta G and it occurs non-enzymatically. And so the bond that's going to be cleaved is this one right here. And in the process, we generate sulfite and pyruvate. Now, if you are a liver cell, the pyruvate that you generate is going to go into gluconeogenesis of glucose, and that glucose will be released by the hepatocyte into the blood to feed peripheral tissues. But you also don't want a lot of sulfite. So sulfite will react with an enzyme called sulfite oxidase.